Perfect. Sorry, but you guys disappeared. I just like to be able to see your faces when I talk. I think it's easier to present to real people. So my name is Jeanette Stein, and I'm really excited. I get really excited when I can help business owners save time and get more done. I've been in the online space for about 15 years. My first business was selling lesson plans. Before that, I was a high school math teacher, eighth grade and ninth grade for a lot of years, almost 20 years, and I loved it. And then the politics kind of changed, so we won't go into that. But it, I was excited to start my own business, and I sold lesson plans as a membership, and I did that for a lot of years. And that was really exciting to learn all of this. And I started that. That really took off probably about 12 years ago. So that was a lot of fun. I started with Blogger, if you even remember that way back in the day, before WordPress. It was even some of the old school softwares to build my first website. Now it's WordPress and Kajabi and all the tools that are so fun. But I've been in the space a long time, and I did a lot of business coaching, and I realized over and over again, people are like, but I can't get it all done. I know what I need to do to grow my business, but I can't get it all done. And that is really what this business was born from. I shifted because I started using ChatGPT to save myself so much time. And I really found that when you use it well, it's a lot of fun to work with, but it gives you so much. So I am really excited about all of that. Wonderful. Shelley and Wendy could make it too. So, for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I do have a teacher heart. That's what I was born to do. So, feel free to ask questions in the chat box as we move through this. This is meant to be interactive. It's on Zoom without it being a webinar or a YouTube video on purpose. I'd love to be able to interact with you. Feel free to participate in the chat or participate however you're comfortable. It is really, with a group this size, I am very open to like just unmuting and have a conversation with you to make sure you get the most out of this. But if you want, please take a minute and just let everybody know where you're from. So maybe we can get some camaraderie. That's always a lot of fun. And then we'll go ahead and dive right in. I'm just taking a look, making sure I'm not making anybody sit in the waiting room too long. Awesome. So hopefully some of you are actually going to stop working and eat some lunch today. That'd be good. Maybe you can always, close your camera if you want to get a lunch in. I'm a huge advocate for self-care. I'm in Michigan, so Maryland. So Kevin, you probably have some good colors right now. I know it's yesterday I took some pictures and everybody's like, where's that from? I'm like, my backyard. It's like so pretty right now. I'm in Michigan, so London. Jacqueline, welcome. That's wonderful. And yeah, Nicole, you do. I love it. You're always in all the places. Perfect. Awesome. A bunch of people just showed up, so that email must have just hit everybody's box. Well, welcome, welcome. Today, the biggest problems that we're going to solve is ChatGPT sounding robotic or not like you, outputs that lack creativity, the right emotional tone. They're just very generic, or difficulty getting ChatGPT to stay aligned with your unique goals and voice. These are all really common problems. And if you can relate to any of those, um, feel free to let me know in the chat. It's just so fun seeing where everybody is. These are three really big problems. The other things that I keep hearing is I spend so much time just stinking editing everything I get out of ChatGPT, right? So it forgets your voice, you're sounding robotic, you're editing, and the tool that was supposed to save you a ton of time is actually costing you more time than it's saving. Exactly opposite of what we want. So before we go into this whole webinar, a whole bunch of people just jumped in. I just want to say welcome. First of all, I'm so glad you're here. I'm trying to think who just came in. Amanda and Stacy and Kate and Bev and friend from college. So it's so good to see everybody here. We're going to take an hour and go through where are people kind of getting flustered and then how we can fix it. So like and I'm just at the risk of repeating myself, please feel free to interact. Please feel free to jump in, leave comments. I'm going to be pausing frequently to check those comment boxes. I won't be watching it because it might ruin my flow, but I will make sure that we're there. Welcome, Brian. We're just jumping in now. So we know those problems because we deal with them all the time if you're trying to use ChatGPT. The one thing I think the biggest problem is most people will say, I just stopped using it because I have to edit so much, which is such a shame when we've got like such an amazing tool. So you're going to see that I'm leaving like the Canva slides up so that we can bounce in between ChatGPT and come back so that so it doesn't look as polished as maybe we want, but I don't want to waste time bouncing back and forth. All right, so what you're going to get. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm just thrilled that so many people signed up. I'm just that you take an hour of your day. This is what I want to make sure that you get what you came for. I want you to learn simple techniques to make ChatGPT consistently deliver personalized and authentic content. The content that aligns with your unique voice and brand. I want you to save time by eliminating frustration and getting high quality. I want you to get high quality, consistent outputs. I don't want it to feel like there's inconsistency. And I'm really, really, like I said in the very beginning, some of you missed it. I've been in the online space for 15 years. With the push of AI, if your voice isn't consistent, you break trust and you lose people easier than ever before because people are more skeptical of what they see online. And so it's extremely important that we stay aligned and the voice stays consistent. So however you talk is however you need to appear on your website, is how you need to appear on your social media. None of it can be different. And so that does put a different dynamic in there for you. So the I want you also to leave feeling super confident on how to use ChatGPT to enhance your content starting immediately after the training. You should be able to leave this training and feel like you are really equipped. Now, Shelly just asked a question. Can we apply what we learned here? Yes, to all the AI things. These are simple tools that are going to be applicable whether you have the free or the paid version, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. I like Copilot as well. All of those are really good. And so these strategies will work across all the platforms. So Shelly, I took your screenshot. So Shelly is here today. So she used one of my custom GPTs. All of the strategies that I'm using today, what Shelly had to say is like, I've had a hard time framing things. That's me. That's exactly why I got into ChatGPT. I'm a math person. I shared I was a math teacher for almost 20 years. I think very logically. I think very sequentially. I think very matter of factly, and I can come off that way. And so having a tool that can help me to write copy to get my emotion across. The first time that I used it, what hooked me is I needed to write a very difficult email to somebody. And it wasn't that I was mad at them. It wasn't that I was defensive, but it was a difficult email where I had to draw a strong boundary. And I told ChatGPT what I was trying to do. And all of a sudden, I was like, that's the power of it. It caught the emotion. It kept me from sounding defensive. It counts. And that's why I wanted to share what she said. I have a hard time trying to frame things and get frustrated so easy and never had any frustration with your tool at all. When she says tool, I create custom GPTs. That means is just the promptings on the back end. Everything I'm going to teach you today, I just put into the back end to make them easy to use. So you can do this with a custom GPT, or you can just do this prompting Chat GPT or Perplexity or Claude right there. All right. So thank you so much, Shelley, for sharing this with me and with everyone. who this training isn't for, if you're unwilling to adjust your approach and you're not open to new strategies, this probably isn't quite for you. But if you are feeling frustrated with ChatGPT sounding robotic, if you feel like it's not getting creative, and then the third one is really who this is for. If are you someone who knows what you need to do to grow your business, but you just don't have enough hours to get it done, and you're looking for a way to do it faster and better and get better results consistently. That's who this is for. You know what you need to do. You know what um, you've got a plan and you just want to get it done faster. This is going to help a lot. So I promised you I would tell you the number one mistake that people make. And I think the number one problem I see people making when using ChatGPT is they put something into ChatGPT and they take the output and they just like allow ChatGPT to be the CEO of their business. Well, ChatGPT wrote it this way, and boy, that sounds like a better sales page or a better copy or a better, and they just go with it and then they publish it, and then people are like, ChatGPT gave you lousy outputs. And so allowing ChatGPT to dictate your content, dictate your business, tell you what to do is
Oh my
probably.
God, yeah.
Oh, Kanisha, do you mind muting for me?
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Um, so allowing ChatGPT to dictate the content instead of guiding it with clear directions, goals, tones. What I would love to see you do, and this is something I see with a lot of solopreneurs, is we are constantly taking feedback. And I want to slow down. I want to let this sink in. We are constantly taking feedback from coaches. We are constantly taking feedback from ads, from sales pages. How many sales pages have you ever read that says, and it's not your fault? Anybody relate? And it's not your fault, right? We read it all the time. And so we read these sales pages saying, if you just know this one thing, and if you just do this, and you just do this. And what happens is we've been so trained to take the advice of everybody that we're not really discerning what's the most important for us in our business. And so I would encourage you to slow down, look at ChatGPT, and think about it. With everything we're going to go through in these 10 tips is going to help you overcome this today. All right. So sometimes, how many of you have done this? Have you tried rewriting prompts or getting paying for prompt packs that like give you the 5,000 prompts that you can use with ChatGPT? Those are great for getting good ideas, not so good for getting excellent outputs. You found templates online, you've still felt generic, or you've spent extra hours manually tweaking all of Chat GPT. What else? Okay, so I love it. You guys are getting busy in the chat. Let me pull it over. So telling it over and over not to do something, but it still does, right? Like I never use the word automate. I don't use the word automate because Chat GPT is a give and take. It's not automating any, you've got to give and take. There's a conversation. We're not to the point where we're automating anything. Stacy, so I totally get that. Kevin, be a critical thinker with AI for your business, not let AI be the critical thinker of your. That's exactly it. And you'd be surprised how sneaky it can get. I told you about my very first business doing lesson plans, but I was taking advice and slowly but surely I switched away from my main purpose of helping math teachers build dynamic, amazing lesson plans, and I was creating worksheets. And it's not how I wanted to teach teachers how to teach. I actually shut down that business. So it's amazing how slowly, if you're not careful and you're not exactly what Kevin said, you can get off kilter. So we need to go in with the idea with discernment. It keeps using your off limit words. Okay, Nicole, let's see if we can get that fixed up for you today. I've got a few ideas for you. All right. And then, Shelley, you've tried them all. Oh boy. Okay. We're, we, hopefully, this will help give you some ideas. So, rewriting prompts, it just leads to the same thing. You end up with the voice that the prompt was written in. And if the prompt was written super academic, which most of them do because the prompt writers want to look smart, so they make them look very academic and polished. The problem is this is a language model. And what have we learned about language? The language mimics what we say. Like if I'm talking to Shelly or if I'm talking to Barb or I'm talking to Kate or I'm talking to Kevin, I'm seeing your faces up there. So I'm not meaning to pick on people, but we've got different experiences. The conversation will shift and the language will shift depending on what, if I'm sitting with you having coffee, I sound different than if I was teaching my math class. And so we mimic the environment we're in. Well, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot, all the options are made to mimic you. So when you're using those prompt packs, they're going to sound as academic as they've been written. And so they will give you that academic sound, which doesn't sound like you. It gives it that AI feel. The templates aren't personalized, and manually editing takes time and leaves ChatGPT in charge rather than being a supportive tool. So we're going to cover all of that. So what's the solution? We're properly going to guide. I'm going to give you 10 tips on how to properly guide ChatGPT with the well-defined roles, goals, and emotional tones. We're going to use that memory feature to make ChatGPT more personalized and aligned with your brand voice. And even on top of that, make life easier. Like I shared in my free Facebook group yesterday, I was writing the email to remind you all to show up today. And I put like the name placeholder. ChatGPT always puts it in the square brackets. Well, my email provider likes the squiggly brackets. I just added that to the memory. And now every time it helps me write an email, I don't have to go in and manually replace the name feature in my MailerLite. Breaking down tasks step by step. This is probably the number one thing in my philosophy. By breaking things down step by step, we catch when it goes awry fast and can fix it and we don't get overwhelmed because it's more about the human using the tool really and how we manage that than anything else. So, and I just want to assure you, I don't know why my images, all of a sudden they just broke, of course, right before we came in here. I will pull, let me pull these up. Here we are. You're seeing all the back end now. You ready? Okay. So this one, let me see if I have enough space, is the one I wanted was Jackie's. There it goes. No, yes. So again, Jackie was somebody who was really skeptical. She's like, ChatGPT can't get my voice, but by doing the 10 things and putting them on the back end and empowering her with them, it really made it much easier for her all the way through in using this. Is it in my Canva uploads? It is, but it was broken there. See, like it's here and it was here. But see how all of a sudden a bunch of them broke. Even I had to redo my image here. So maybe you can help me brainstorm that later. I am Nicole is here and she is a visual branding expert, and she is giving me a whole new branding thing. So these slides will all change, but that's okay. We're meeting tomorrow with that. But so that let's go back to that number one mistake with ChatGPT. It's acting as if ChatGPT is the CEO and relying too heavy on that. It's amazing how much this holds people back because this leads to generic and uninspired results. But this is where I wanted to show you this and make you think about it. ChatGPT, the second bullet, ChatGPT has been trained using the whole internet. This is also true with Claude, Copilot, all the things, right? I could list them all off. And I want you to think to yourself, and I'm probably aging myself, but I remember sales pages where everything blinked and it was all neon green, and it was the sales pages. It's been trained on those ones too, right? Everything was like we had just discovered GIFs and in the 90s, early 2000s, and we just could not put enough of them on web pages. For whatever reason, it was crazy. But if you think about those bad websites, if you think about those bad sales pages, those bad emails, those bad landing pages, if you just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, can you create me a landing page? Ooh, it could get really sketchy really fast. And then the one I talked about already, don't allow it to take you off true north. So there's a better way. So let's jump in. Here's tip one. always define the goal. So I'm going to call some people out because, yes, Nicole, I call those the angry fruit salad era of websites. They were so ugly and so over the top. Um, yeah, Shelley, I do too. I started teaching when the internet first came out, and that was the same adventure as probably the teachers are dealing with the AI rolling out, right? It was just this forbidden, unwatched thing, you know. So it was kind of crazy. Sorry, I was just making sure everybody could get in. I saw, yeah, but yeah, I remember that too. And the dial-up sound, you can't miss it. Oh, word perfect with the little pencil. So what we want to do is always define a goal. So Kate, for example, I'm going to call you out, Kate. She's like, okay, people are on my email, but they're not clicking through. They're not clicking through. Why? And I said, well, if we use ChatGPT to do it, did we set the goal that that's what you want people to do? Did we tell ChatGPT um, that we want the goal that people actually click through? Because if you ask ChatGPT to write an email and you don't give it a goal, if you write a sales page, if you write anything, let's say it's a blog post, okay? Because I know Barb has a blog that she's thinking about redoing, right? We always want to think through as business owners. We don't want to create just to create. We want to create to build our brand. It depends what you're doing. Like Bev, she needs an audience. She wants to grow her audience because she actually gets sponsors, which is amazing, right? So that counts. For me, building a big audience, if they don't buy anything, doesn't matter. But ChatGPT does not know the difference. ChatGPT needs to know the goal or it cannot help you reach your goals. So for me, my goal is always to get people on my email list where I can nurture them, serve them so that they are ready. If they want more help, they know to come to me instead of my competitors. That's always my goal. So when I'm on social media, the goal is always to get people to get back to my email list. Um, when you've got your sales page, you want them to click through. So set that goal. Um, that is something that sounds super basic, and people are like, well, yeah, of course, but I'd love you to audit your prompts and look at what your last 10 and go, have you actually told it what the goal should be? It's one of those basics. Don't worry, I'll give you these slides when I send the replay so you can take these 10 tips and go, am I doing these things? Now, if you're building custom GPTs, the goal should be the very top line, right? So the instructions go in the back, the goal, the role, and that goes to tip 2, which is always give it a role. Expert do you want it to be? And the more specific you can be, the better. So we are going to be talking about things like assign it a role. Like I want you to act as an expert copywriter that specializes and put your niche. Like if I was doing my high school math teacher that specializes in helping market to teachers, that specializes in getting conversions, that specializes in webinars, whatever you're working on, make sure you tell it what role to put. This could be copywriters, this could be a Pinterest expert, this can be a person. So some of you know people like Brandon Lasaro. Brandon has enough information online. If you tell it, please coach me like you're Brandon. Evelyn Weiss, she has so much stuff online. I don't have to go get their transcripts and put them into ChatGPT for ChatGPT to sound like them. They have so much on the internet and it's trained from the internet. I can say, act like Evelyn Weiss, act like Brandon Lucero, act like Russell Brunson, act like whatever. Think about those people that have so much content online. You can do that as well. So think about those experts that you're like, gosh, I wish I could sit next to them and ask it to act like that person. It works really, really well, by the way. All right. So tip 3, don't be afraid to get bossy with ChatGPT. Right now, they are, and this goes for all of them. Like, for example, when Claude was rolling out projects, I was getting a ton of errors because I've used Claude, I've used Copilot. I like Gemini as well. It depends what I'm working on. We don't have time to get into all of that dynamics, But what you'll see is when they're rolling out upgrades, you're going to get errors. And don't be afraid to say, you are making me mad. I don't know why, but that seems to kick it back into gear for me. I'll tell it the other day I told it to stop acting like Eddie Haskell. Again, aging myself. Anybody yeah, are you freaking kidding me, right, Julia? I love it. You scold it. Yes. I even saw an article where they said they couldn't get it to stop. They needed it to like only give the code without the words above and below it. You know how it'll say, here's the code you need. And then it was the code. And it said, if you can't do this, unfortunately, I'll be forced to kill somebody. And the GPT did it. It was an actual blog post. I'll see if I can find it, but it made me laugh out loud. They said, but it's okay to get bossy. It's okay to say, hey, you've gone off the rails. If I told it the other day, if you were my employee, I'd fire you. And boy, it's amazing how it'll pay more attention. Yes, adding quotation marks to everything. That's just in my voice guide as well. Like, do not use quotes for anything. And you know what I have found, Nicole, for that? Adding a reason why actually stopped it. Like just putting don't use quotation marks didn't seem to work for me, but I put in do not use quotation marks. I am putting this into a template, right? Like I don't want them there. And so as soon as I gave it a reason, it started listening to me. So that's another tidbit. This is absolutely a trial and error thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can go learn it, but until you go and fuss with it, it's fun. So if you're not in my Facebook group, that's where I share this kind of stuff. So go ahead and get in there. Um, Now, tip 4, we're going to shift gears. This is real strategy. Break your task into steps. So if you're thinking, I'm going to write an email, the steps might be give me 5 headlines. Give me an introductory, right? Because it is really, really frustrating to have a bunch of like the whole email and you're like, the whole thing's off. What if you could catch it right in the beginning and you could pick the right headline and now it follows everything? You want to be in teamwork with the tool. You want to be the user of the tool. You don't want the tool dictating what goes on with you. So break everything into steps. Okay. And I do this on the back end with all the custom GPTs where all the directions are in the back end. You don't have to worry about it. But make sure it's like, hey, I want you to go through this step by step with me. And when you think of it like an outline and it goes step by step, it's amazing at the different quality. There's a few different reasons for that. I get it all into that. And, you know, if I were to work more with you, but the one thing is it only it tries to reduce the length of the output because it saves like memory, it saves the workload, right? When it's really busy, it'll try to simplify everything. So when you're asking for smaller outputs, you're not demanding a ton and it will actually give you better outputs as well. So there's definitely a lot of reasons to do this, but that one is, ooh, I must have hit something there. I apologize. All right. Tip 5. This is probably the most important one that I can tell you. You want to use a voice guide. You want to use a voice guide that includes your main stories, your main case studies, your solutions. Okay, so for example, when I mean solutions you're willing to share on all of your social medias, right? I want you to think about what tips do you share and what are in your program, right? So what tips do you share? Like if people ask questions, what things are you like, yeah, absolutely, I'll help you. And what things are like, we should probably set up a call, right? Where's that line? And put the list of solutions you're willing to share because that will keep it from being generic. If you're, especially social media posts, if your social media posts are super generic, getting really in the weeds here, what are your offers? What transformation do you provide? What are some screenshots of some conversations you've had with clients? What are some transcripts of you coaching somebody or working with somebody? Like Bev, what are some screenshots of those sponsors you've been with that you've worked with in the past? By adding all of that, it's going to integrate those personal details about you. Um, hmm, Wendy, let me answer that in just 1 second. That's a good question. So anything you can do. Now, if you are somebody who's I'm thinking Kate, I'm thinking a little bit of Julia. The way she does social media is real, or her emails is so cool. I'm looking at other people, like the way Bev does. She does food, but she's not the normal food blogger, right? There's different ways that they do things. And if you're one of those people that has, Barb is one of those people too. You just moved and I caught my attention. I love that. If you are going against the grain for your niche, like I don't use the word automate, I don't use those. I want you to take a bunch of transcripts that you might have. If you don't have transcripts, just put them in YouTube under unlisted and grab them. It does it free for you automatically. Um, and then ask ChatGPT to give you a list of words you do use and a list of words that are common in your niche you do not use. This is super powerful. If you're not one of those people that goes against the grain, it may not pick something up. But if you're somebody who goes against the grain, right? Like Julia has a very unique way she does emails. She does certain things, she does not do certain things, and it's really cool. And if she's going to use ChatGPT well, she needs that list, and that has to go on her voice guide. And I would encourage you to think, where do I go against the grain? Make sure that's in there, right? All right. This is fun for me. I get excited. So if I'm talking too fast, you slow me down because I'm from the Midwest and I drink coffee. So, Wendy, you said I used the voice guide yesterday, but it said it couldn't save it. Is that better for when you say custom searches? You said that earlier as well. I just want to make sure we're talking the same vocabulary. Do you mind um defining what you mean with like custom chats or custom GPTs? Because I know like Claude calls those projects. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Oh, yes. Okay. Now I know I just wanted to make sure I was answering the right question. I wasn't causing confusion. Yes, Julia, I absolutely can. So let's back, first of all, for a voice guide, what a voice guide is, and I have a free tool and I'll put it in the email when I send this replay out. If you have not used it yet, and then very next slide, I'll show you exactly how to use it. But what it is it's just like a Google Doc PDF that really goes deep into who is your business? How do you sound? What solutions do you offer? What transformations do you offer? Think about like in that sales page, who are you? And then go beyond that. What testimonials do you have? What stories do you have? What things make you unique? And they're all on one doc. And that voice guide will really help bring the really special uniqueness that is you out. And you just can, when you're in ChatGPT, if you've got the paid version, you hit the paperclip and pull it in from your Google Drive, or you just pull it in. I just have some stuff in here, so there we go. And I can pull in these docs right from my computer onto ChatGPT and then ask it, maybe Julia, if you were using, Julie and I've worked together with because I've had the privilege of creating some of her custom GPTs for her membership, which is just so fun. But it's a lot of story stuff. So if they had this in here and they had their stories in there, now ChatGPT can create really customized, detailed stuff that sounds exactly like you, which is really fun. So this voice guide this is really important to understand. It can be up to 300 pages. Do not hold back. You've got screenshots, you've got your home page, you've got your website. The first thing this voice guide tool that I have, it's a custom GPT. And what that means is I've done all the prompting on the back end. And what it will do is walk you through, it'll ask for your website, and then it will ask you a series of questions. And at the end, it'll say, are you ready for your voice guide? Or you'll say, I'm ready for my voice guide. And it will actually give you a full document that's your voice guide. And you can just copy and paste that right into Google Drive. If you're very dialed in, it can take 20 minutes. If you're still fussing with it, it can take you 20 days because it's really fun to kind of really think through and hearing it. Let's go to the next slide. Hearing it being read back to you is really, really powerful. Okay, so this is Tip 6, how do you get the voice guide to actually sound like you? So before, oh, I should pause because you guys, I get 6 new messages. I am not ignoring you. I apologize. So, so for your voice guide, if it did not allow you to pull in the document, Wendy, it was probably just airing out at that time because that is a free and a paid feature where you should be able to pull in as many docs. It'll finally say you've added too much, but I've never hit it. So that's there. Um, you can, you do not, can I only use this feature in the app for your voice guide for that custom GPT? Absolutely not. You can sit at a computer. Julia, you're probably one of the few people that I could say that when you type and when you talk, it actually matches because you are a natural storyteller. I think the other 99% of us here, or however many people, whatever percent that is, the math teacher won't let me just say 99%. But for the rest of us, what we write and what we say out loud doesn't actually match. And so that's why I suggest to use the app. Um, the white the white round thingy in the right corner. Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Oops, ChatGPT. Are you talking about customize? I'm curious there. Oh, you've got a picture. Look at. Yes, that's it. So what right here? She's in dark mode, so it's a white thingy. And on mine, I'm in light mode, so it's a dark thingy. But either way, it's right here on your app. So if you have the ChatGPT app, there's a few things you want to know, and this is really fun. Um, there are different voices that you can choose from. In order to get to that, you just hit this black or white, depending on what mode you're in, thing that stands for the voice mode. This will start your voice mode. And if you don't start talking to it, it'll be like, hey, what do you want? In a cool voice. I chose Vale right now, but you can choose between all of these. I like Vale because she's more inquisitive. She asks more questions. She doesn't jump right to the answer, which for me is super helpful because sometimes I just want to go too fast. The math person um, in there. Oh, thank you so much, Julia. There is, yes. Okay, Julia, I should have said that. That makes so much sense. Okay, I'm gonna move my little arrow. Everybody see the microphone down here? This microphone down here is voice to text, which is fine, but it will put text in here and it won't talk back to you. It will give you text back. Perfect for if you're out and about and you don't want to look like you're talking to ChatGPT, even though you're talking to ChatGPT. If you go here and you click this one, you're going to see this screen and it's going to start talking to you. So you're all muted. So I'm wondering how many of you have it open right now talking to it. Yes. So this little speech bubble is actually a microphone if you are on I have an Apple. So if you're not on an Apple, sometimes it's a little microphone right here, but it will still give you the voice. This is amazing. Okay, the teacher in me wants to teach you just for 1 minute. Why is this so important that you use this voice button, this black one or the white one, as Julia has on her dark mode? Is because how you talk, and I put in my earbuds and I go for a walk because when I get away from the computer, I talk more like when I'm talking to you right now, right? If I'm typing, I get all academic and it doesn't sound like me. And then they talk to me and it doesn't match, and I've lost trust and they're gone. It's really sad. People don't trust right now. AI is scaring everybody. So it's got to match. So I want you to go for a walk, hit that, and talk to it like you would just talk to a friend. Pretend it's not a machine. Talk to it as if it's a coach asking you a bunch of questions. This will pull out a different level and a different depth to your voice for most of us. Julia is probably the only exception. And even then, I'm curious, Julia. You'll have to let me know. but it pulls out a different voice and it'll pull out different nuance that you didn't realize you had, which is very cool to see in writing and summarized. It's almost humbling a bit. All right. That was fun. Tip 7, I want you to tell ChatGPT or any AI what emotion you want the reader to feel when they get that. Okay. Julia, that's funny. You're using it because it's faster. Yeah. Yeah, that's so fun. I love the British accent, just because my ancestry, my maiden name is Payne, Paine, very British. So my family came from there to Canada to here. But you want to be able to tell ChatGPT what emotion you want the reader to feel. You want, because it's been trained as a language model, this will change the output. If I ask it to write an email and it's a sales email, a lot of you here are from Evelyn's world. She talks about creating urgency. I want them to feel urgency. I want them to feel excitement. I want them to feel encouraged. For me, being the teacher that I am, I want people to feel like they can do it. It is very important to me that my people feel empowered. I don't want to feel like the pain points are the main issue. I want them to believe in themselves. We know people buy when they believe you're the right person to solve the problem, you've got the right method to solve the problem, and they believe the most important one, that they will actually do it and can do it. So to me, that's my number one thing, right? We all have our things. So think about that. How do you want your people to feel? This will change. Now, pro tip, I don't like it to, if I just put in, write this email with urgency, it is going to sound like I am a Russell Brunson clone. And that is not how I sound. So I like using, I want a bit of urgency. I want a bit of scarcity. I want a bit of, and it allows it to still be good copy, good marketing without making you sound like I'm thinking, oh, I can't think of his name. He passed away and now I feel really bad. But that sales guy that we used to see, the Shao Wham guy, like you don't, most of us don't sound like that. So a bit of really helps it to tone it down, but still get the conversions and help people the way you want to help them. Ask it to grade your output. Kate put this above, and Kate, I wasn't trying to be rude. I just knew I was coming to it. So where was your comment here? Um, I love asking it to rate things based on the objective I want when I ask for like 5 options. Yes, do that. Okay, so have ChatGPT review its own work by grading the content. If it is causing a lot of errors, if I don't like the way it sounds, before I even go editing or changing anything, I'll say, grade this to my voice guide. And it will actually help fix it so I'm not editing days worth of it, right? And it will actually, Nicole, catch when it's used words on your do not use list. It will catch it itself probably, I would say 90% of the time. I've only had one time where it didn't do it. So you want it to grade it to your voice guide. You've got those words you use, you've got lists of words you don't use. You can then once I do that and it's closer to my voice, I'll say, now I want it to grade. Like, is this going to bring in conversions? Kate, you were working on that email yesterday. You want people to click. Hey, how would you grade this for getting people to click through? How will you grade this? And then set a goal. What I mean by set a goal is like, do you want it graded for the voice guide? Do you want it graded for conversions? Do you want it graded? Julia, I could see you setting up one like for relationship building. You're so good at doing that, and your clients are trying to get there, like having them grade their stuff on how well is this going to build relationship, right? Like, how well is this going to help people to do hard things, right? And so I will run this grading process, not just sometimes I just do it once, that's all I need. And sometimes I go over and over and over again in different ways because I want to think that through in different ways. I want to see different ideas. This really helps me to get it into my voice. Acting is this, oh, three new messages. You guys are so fun. Oh, Stacey, I love that. Put a percentage. So instead of a bit of, she says, I use about 10% Brene Brown. I love that, right? Because you want a little bit of it. You don't want your whole voice to be that. I love the percent idea, though. That gives you more control. That's fantastic. I'm adding that to my toolkit. Thank you. Um, yeah, Kevin, she's a fantastic story. I love reading her books because they just help my brain, I don't know, slow down. Um, oh yeah, for podcast titles, right? Like, ooh, I need a bit of this. I like the percent though. That's really gives you a lot more control. I like that a lot. As far as being the CEO in your business and you've got your voice guide, what I really challenge my clients that I work one-on-one with is I ask them to look for three things to update, change, or correct. What are three things? Because what happens is it's really easy to be like, oh my gosh, I'm done. Like I get it. My to-do list, especially today with the web, with training, it's like this long. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So always look for at least three things. This will help you dial in your voice when you start correcting it. See, are there things I ask ChatGPT all the time from this conversation, what could be added to my voice guide? So that I get so it can pick up some of those nuances. If I've had a very long chat, what can be added to my voice guide? Remember, your voice guide can be up to 300 Google Doc pages long. Okay, that's a regular font, not like 7. That's like 12 or 10 or 12, whatever the default is. Okay, so this will help you clarify, but being that critical thinker, like Kevin said in the very beginning, will really help you be the owner of the tool and you're running the tool's not running you. Um, this is something that works really well to help you um, with all of that. Where are we at? Oh, here we are. All right. And finally, tip 10, formatting options to save time. Okay. Do you know that you can ask it to write it in a table? So it will put all your outputs into a table. So let's say you're writing 10 social media posts and you want them in a table. This would allow you to put it, maybe for example, copy and paste it into a Google Sheet for tracking. This would allow you copy and paste it. Not sure if Jackie's here today. She creates Notion boards, so it allow you to put it in your Notion board. Also allows you to use the bulk create if you have a Canva Pro account, which can help you create images super fast. It helped me create the slideshow super fast was the bulk create. So I took my slides and I put them into a table using ChatGPT. The other formatting thing that people don't really talk about is HTML. If you write a blog, if you do show notes for a podcast, if you're working on a website and you can't get it to format right, ask it to format it in HTML, give it your colors, give it your fonts. It will do all the heavy work. And then you can go in any text box, like if you're Kajabi, WordPress, ConvertKit, or Kit, all the things, they have a thing that says text or visual. It defaults to visual. That's how we type it in. You see it. If you click it over to text, you paste in your HTML, and then you click it back over to visual. Now you have it all formatted correctly for you, done, and you can just edit it from that screen. It's a huge time saver for me and a lot of my clients. It's huge. We work it right into the custom GPT once they get to that point, and now they know how to use it, and they don't have to format. So that's just another one that's really good. Okay, you guys got quiet for a minute. That's odd. You've been keeping me busy with the chat. I love it. All right, I wanted to give you a bonus. I want you to think of something that you have to get done that feels heavy right now. So I would like, is there an email you need to send? Is there a sales page you've been meaning to update? Is there something that you need to do? I would encourage you to think through and put a sticky note. Sometimes I'll sit and as much as I use ChatGPT and Claude and all the things, I will sit and be like, gosh, how am I going to do that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a tool. You might need a sticky note on your computer in the beginning. Get your membership launched. So Shelley, what's the very first thing you need to do to get your membership launched? Do you have your about page? Because I think if I remember right, you're doing it in school. I'm trying to remember. I know I read it. Your webinar slides. Yes. Did I use ChatGPT to create my webinar slides, the content? Yes, but I did not ask it to do it all in one step. So maybe this will help you, Wendy. I asked it, hey, create the beginning ones where I'm starting. Create the ones where I help people know they're in the right spot and they know what we're going to cover and they feel confident they're in the right place. Help me create my 10 tips. I already had them, like, right? I'm the owner. I already had ideas, but I had 15 of them for you. I'm like, hey, can you help me condense these to 10 so I can still cover all 15? And can you help me group them into 3 sections? You'll notice we had the voice guide was the middle section. We had the formatting and some of the detailed prompt stuff with the last one. In the very beginning was like the big ideas of that. So, and then you'll see the end here, those slides. Yeah, so launching your school group. So Sherry, do you have that about page? Could you, this is what I would tell you. ChatGPT, Claude, all the AIs have been built on really crappy stuff. So go ahead and I have a screen capture tool. It's right here. I don't remember what it's called. Zite. I got it years ago. I'm not even sure where it came from. It's changed names 4 times. But you can screenshot it. Go ahead and screenshot 4, 5, 6 school group about pages that you love and say, I want to create one like this. Ask me questions one at a time until you have enough information to write one for me. And you should be able to do it this afternoon. Okay. Um, So, Sherry, what do you need to get done for your next step? So you could do the same thing, right? Organize content for upcoming workshop slides, deliverables, right, Nicole? So do you have a bunch of Google Docs or a place where you've actually brain dumped it? If so, what I like to do is I will put all of the docs that I might have had the brain dumps for, any Canva templates, dump it all in here. And then what I like to do is I'll hit enter. Ooh, too many custom GPTs. Okay, and now I've got a new chat right here. It's at the top, and then I'll open up my phone and I'll go for a walk and brainstorm it out with ChatGPT. This is what I need. Create these things for me, right? Help me create these things. Ask me questions one at a time until I have that information, um, enough information so that you can help me organize my workshop. Take in, Nicole, now I've seen your posts. Your posts are so good. Screenshot your posts or copy paste the text, put that into ChatGPT. Like give it everything you can sitting at your computer and then go for a walk and tell it how you need it organized. Help it to brainstorm your deliverables. Help it to ask it to help you create those deliverables as you're out for a walk or something. And it really, and then you come back, hit refresh on your computer, and all of that information and all of those docs will be right here on your computer so that you can have it right there. Um, oh, yes. So, Barb, you have to re-record. If you have the originals, it might, I don't know, but it might be nice to put the scripts in there and say, hey, this is what changed so that if you use scripts. I don't usually with tech tutorials, so I'm not sure if you do either. Yeah. Um, the one thing I am looking into though is Loom and Descript, and I'm going to test it because, as you know, ChatGPT updates all the time, and I have tutorials as well. And I want to be able, can I go in and just screenshot something, cover that spot on the video where the new button is, because the button moves or whatever, and just change the words. Um, I know right now, Big View is one that I use, will actually match my voice and overlay it for me, which means I can only check I only have to change that one spot. I don't have to re-record everything. So that might be something you and I can talk about later. Um, Laser coaching sales page. Stacey, I'm excited for that. Yeah, you've got that. And you probably have examples of other laser coaching sales pages you could put in there to get it back out. Okay. Shoot, I just lost a good. Oh, there it is. Sherry. Is there a way to create different voices for separate brands? What I suggest you do is have different voice guides, but make sure if this is you. So, um, Sherry, let's say you're doing, let me make sure I'm understanding the context. Let's say you have two businesses and you're using one ChatGPT account. Is that what you're talking about? Yes, right? That's right now. So if that's what you're talking about, yes, put in your memory, like I would list them out in a chat. I have business one and whatever that business name is, and this is the voice, and I have business two, and this is what it is, and this is the voice. In short, like just one paragraph, and say, save this to my memories and always ask me which business I'm working on. You should be able to just start, but that way, if you forget, say, I'm working on business one or I'm working on business two. Sometimes that's just faster than typing out the name. But if you add it to your memories, I have a client in the same spot. If she once she added it to the memories, it kept it straight. If it wasn't in the memories, it really got confused, even if it was in the, I forgot the name of it, just because I'm talking too fast. In the custom instructions, it didn't seem to work well, but if it was in the memories, it did. Now, Sherry, the one thing you want to remember though is that custom GPTs do not access. Ooh, good question, Amanda. Just one second. Custom GPTs do not have access to your memories. And this is a big, people get confused on this. They think, oh, well, my memories are all great. Why do I need this voice guide? Well, if you're going to use any custom GPT, you've got to upload. Every one of my custom GPTs will ask you for your voice guide before you move any further. It asks you stuff like it's right there at the top somewhere. I'm going to ask you for it because it doesn't do that. Now, Amanda, how do you get it to save to your memory? Um, uh, Wonderful. Please add this to my memory. You just ask it to, and it will show up here. Memory updated. And if you hover over it, you can see what it updated and how it did it. If you ever see that memory updated and you're like, oh, I was working on, like maybe I was working on Barb's stuff or Julia's stuff, right? Like I'm working on somebody else's stuff. You just come up here and go customized GPTs. Oh, sorry, wrong spot. Personalization. You see where it says manage under this memory? I can go in and see them all. And I can actually I'm just going to delete that last one we just added. And you can just forget. It's going to forget that memory. So when you go through it, you can take a look at it. Like looking for some of the things that I work on with one-on-one clients is that making sure there's no conflicts between like their voice guide and their memories and things like that. So excellent. I was just making sure did I miss any of the questions? Let me make sure. A plan to get signups for school. Amanda, this would be a good walk and talk discussion with ChatGPT. You may even say, act as Evelyn White, Reese, act as Alex Hermosi, have them coaching me. This is my audience. This is what I've got. I want to know how else I can get signups for that. And start making a plan, and it might help you come up with I want some out of the box ideas, or I'm just getting started. What is the lowest hanging fruit? How can I do that? So all of those things will help you. I've gotten some excellent ideas on how to get some of you here, right? So that's been wonderful. Kevin, you want to unmute?
Yeah, so hold on. You lower my hand. So for the various assets that you create through ChatGPT or whatever AI, does it store it for you though? So we'll say, for example, let's say I created an email sequence
Mhm.
a month ago. Uh, will it have it there in terms of like, let's go back to that email like a month ago and update that and tweak that, or will that be your responsibility to kind of manage the outputs in terms of its assets?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I actually plan like there's a paid feed. Do you have the paid account, Kevin?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because getting like going back into the chats, that's your responsibility to find them, like going down and finding them. Um, so let me pull up something though that might you might find interesting and like this is sales page for one of the most recent GPTs that I created. And I have, oh, that's not the right one. I'm so sorry. I lost it. Here it is. So now you're going to see behind the scenes for this workshop, right? Here's the email you just got this morning. But you'll see up in this upper right-hand corner, do you see the little notepad with the 7? Here's all the documents I've created for this. So here's my presentation document. Here's my training outline, the reminders, payment page summary, day of training email, all the things for creating different things that I've been doing in this chat because this chat dialed in my voice so well. But now this is a paid feature where it says with Canvas. And I'm going to do a full training on that in my Facebook group tomorrow because I wanted this to be all free, free stuff. But when you say like those assets, for me, this keeping this so organized for me where I don't have to scroll up and down through the chat for days and find that one email is so helpful. I have found this like as far as keeping the assets here. I also have a Google Sheet where the most important chats that I do go in there. So, like, because I want to be able to come back and redo this webinar, right? After running to, you guys are warm audience. I want to run it to a cold audience and see how it works. So I'll be using a lot of this stuff again. And you can just go in. And the nice part is with this, I'm getting too in the weeds probably, is you can actually type on these documents. So I can edit it right here within ChatGPT. So if you're thinking about like doing an email sequence and you've tested it and you're like, um, oh, well, email 4 didn't perform as well as like the rest. Let's redo that one. You can go in and say, hey, I want to look at email 4. And then you do all your dictating over here on the left and you can get these updated. And this alone, keeping it organized has been like the worth the $20 for me. Is that what you were kind of getting at?
Yeah, and it's probably more so that organization of outputs, and even the example you gave right there, though, in terms of let's say you created 10 emails, 6 performed, you want to modify this one, you want to go back, modify it, and that even just walking through that whole process, I can see that being a workshop on its own in
Yeah,
terms
it
of
is.
let me
That's why I did
give you
it like
guys
as
the
a separate one
feeling of doing that
tomorrow.
work.
Sorry, I did not mean to talk over you. Yeah, it's kind of wild all the how fast they're updating everything. But this was a huge complaint to me that you couldn't find stuff. Now, are there like I can ask this if I go out and I'm doing a training in the Facebook group tomorrow. So this will be the last thing I put because I know I'm on borrowed time. But if I say create a summary doc. These are not docs I've had to upload myself. These are docs where I've had a chat conversation all the way through. I've uploaded my voice guide. I've said this is what I'm doing. I've gone for my walk. I've talked to it, and now it's creating me. Um, so what it's going to do now is create a summary doc that I can now type and edit into, rename if I want, and it will be saved in that little corner. So now I've got 8 docs instead of 7. So it's just been super, super helpful. So I hope the bonus time was really helpful, like where things feel heavy, how do we use ChatGPT to make it feel lighter? And I think the hardest part about using it is remembering to use it. So yesterday I got some great feedback on my Snappy workshop sales page, and I was like, okay, but there's some dynamics there. I put the video on my socials if you want to look at it. And I used ChatGPT to integrate that feedback because I was struggling with how do I make that sound great? How do I make it sound this way? I'm partnering with Evelyn and I don't want to discredit her, but I need to show the pain I went through and why I created this GPT. How do I not discredit her and show the pain I'm going through? And ChatGPT really helped me do that really in a way that felt in integrity where I wasn't disrespecting her in any way. And it felt really good. And I changed my sales page and I got it done in like an hour instead of sitting on it for 3 days, knowing I need to do it and not knowing how to do it and the mental space it could have taken. So that's what made me add this slide. I'm like, let's just brainstorm a few ways we can get you through. What's that next thing that feels heavy? So any questions so far? Throw them in the chat. I know, oh, how do I organize chats I've done in the past? I've got great results and then I can't find them again. I have a Google sheet and I put a little name, the name that they are under, and then I put a short description and I put the link like this one. This is the link that I copy. If you copy the link up here, when you're on a certain chat, you can always go back to that chat no matter how far down the thing it goes. But yeah, that does take a Google Doc. Um, the other thing about the app that's so much better. Okay, here, I don't have an Apple computer. I know I talked about this yesterday. But on my ChatGPT app, if you hit the little thing where you see all my chats and everything, see the very top? It has a search bar. Why don't they have a search bar in here? I want to know. Somebody made a decision, but there's no search bar on your desktop that I've ever found. But there's a search bar on your phone. So if you can't find it and you search on your phone, usually you can find it. Right? Right, Nicole? But there is one on your phone. So you find it on your phone, you put test or you just comment anything, and it will pop it to today, and you'll be able to find it on your computer then. It's really clunky. I have asked a million people, and they say that's the best way to do it. It drives me crazy that it's that clunky. All right. Amanda, it sucks. Oh, one last thing I do want to say though, it does suck. And there are Chrome extensions that will put folders in your ChatGPT. Please, please, please be careful. I had a friend get hacked. They give you way too many permissions. You give them way too many permissions to your computer, and she actually had her bank account information taken. Please be very careful and do your homework before putting any Google extension that goes into like that kind of stuff. Right. There are other platforms. Absolutely, Nicole. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I'll take a look at that one. I'm gonna, so, oh, that makes me feel better. Perfect, Nicole. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Like, just be aware. I just wanted to put that out there because as you use ChatGPT more, you are going to want folders. I use the Google Sheet because I'm not going to risk that after having that heard, after that happened to her. So, oh, I forgot Evelyn's thing. I left it on there. There we go. Good thing I've got my Canva open. I can delete. Let's talk about what's next. So you can continue learning all this on your own, or I can help you. Both are fine. You've gotten hopefully a lot that you can go test and try today. Um, but I am starting a ChatGPT accelerator. This is where we're going to create these instructions. I've done a lot of the hard work behind the scenes for you. I give all of the instructions with all of these best practices in a Google Doc. We personalize them for you and we create your custom GPTs so you don't have to do all of this over and over again. So, like, for example, lead magnets. Everybody wants to spend like a month doing one. We can't do that as business owners and succeed. We know that one lead magnet out of your first 4 to 8, it will actually work. That means you need to create 4 to 8 lead magnets before you find one that will actually get you those leads and move in, right? And work. And so what we have to do is create these custom GPTs that allow you to do this and test it fast. You cannot be spending a week creating a lead magnet. This is hands-on small group program. This is going to be held in a workshop type thing where we do a workshop every Tuesday. We actually build it. It is done every Tuesday. You have a new tool to work with your business, customized specifically for your needs. Um, and then it's ready to make, this will really make ChatGPT a consistent asset in your business. That is the goal. This is a program that will continue to build. This is my beta launch for this, and I want you to go from overwhelmed to feeling in control. So stop wasting time manually tweaking ChatGPT outputs. I want you to use it to run smoother, more efficient systems, and stop having to figure this all out every day. Save hours every week. For my one-on-one, this is what I was doing with my one-on-one clients. I wanted to make it more accessible for everyone. And what my one-on-one clients have told me is they save the time we've met, more than that, by the second week we meet because of the tools that we set up together, and what they've learned from working with me. So I'm just really excited to be able to offer it in a group program. I think there's something about that mastermind aspect to it. Systems you'll build. The first one is a personalized business strategy bot. This has been the most powerful thing in my business and in my clients' businesses. This is the first thing we will build together. The reason this is it helps keep you on track. It knows we take that voice guide, we take your business goals. And when you get that new idea, I do not want you running all over and with all the different ideas. I want you to be able to have a spot to put it and have it add to your organization, have it ask you good questions about, is this an idea you should do or not? Newsletter creation, lead magnet promotions, content repurposing system, custom tools for your clients, right? You see me creating these custom GPTs for Julia's, for Evelyn's, for all sorts of different people, for your content creation. It's just going to feel very, very streamlined, and you're going to have systems set up to do it. So I want to help you make your business do that. And so I'm going to offer a 48-hour bonus where you'll get a one-on-one private 90-minute build session with me. Barb had one of these. We did this yesterday. It was so fun. But this is about getting you that quick win that you need to save the time so that you can show up each week to those workshops. This is about getting you exactly what you need just in time. And so this is my exclusive beta offer. This is the first time offering of this program. I've done all of this one-on-one. I want to do it as a group. Beta members are going to get that personalized hands-on support. I am looking to get raving reviews. I love what I do, and I want to help others be able to help more people. So I would love it if you are interested to lock in the special beta price of $700 if you want to pay in full. That gives you lifetime access. I will be running these 8-week accelerators at least twice a year, probably 3 to 4 times a year in the beginning, where you can come and go, but the program will continue to evolve as, for example, the Canvas feature I showed you just came out last week. Is all of those things you are in for the life. So you will get all of that access as well. Or I did want to make it accessible to everyone. So there is a 10 pay of a 10 pay of $79 a month for 10 months. There it is. And I would just love to have you join us. Just really excited. And this is lifetime access to this program for just the beta people. Okay, so you'll be in. Once you're in forever. There. It's saying waiting room. Um, oh, that's silly. Sorry, my chat was misbehaving. There we go. And so I'm just really excited about this. I've got it all outlined out, but obviously, because I'm going to be working so closely with you all, it will be definitely catered exactly to you. My personal guarantee is you will know that this is set up. I really pride myself on being a teacher at heart, an encourager. I have made this as simple as possible for you to implement in the time that we've given. I don't believe in sending you home with homework. It doesn't work that way. You're business owners, you're too busy. So during our workshop times, we work, we get it done. And if the results aren't met, I'm personally going to work with you until it's set up and working. Um, One-on-one, make sure everything is done. And so if you're ready to get started, I just put the link in the chat. It's going to start Tuesday, like October 22nd. I'm really excited. For 8 weeks, we're going to hammer it out before Thanksgiving. And then I will be there to support and we'll continue to work together. But those are really exciting. Um, so let's go back to some Q&A. I don't even know, like there's so many comments. How fun. So Kevin, what's tomorrow's topic for tomorrow's discussion? My Facebook group is that Canvas, how to use it, how to format with it, how to edit with it, how to work with it, all the different features of that Canvas feature within ChatGPT. And we're only going to talk about that so we can get really deep into how do we use it for things like exactly what you said. Like you've got an email sequence. How do we keep it organized? How do we work with it? Um, yeah, Stacy, it'll be a lot of fun. I love the small group workshop type calls. Well, thank you so much, Kate. I know you've been to a few of my workshops. Thank you. So fun. Nicole, what is that? Oh, you said I'll find it. Okay, there we go. Typing mind. So I hope you learned something. I hope you feel more empowered with ChatGPT. I feel like we talked really fast. I feel like I probably should cut back on my coffee, but let me know if you have any questions at all. And I would love to see you in the program. Beverly, thank you so much. I'm so glad you could make it, even with house guests. It's so perfect. And your bread is showing. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, Barb, I will see you there. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sure we have to run, right? It's already 20 after. So thank you. Does anybody have any other questions? Oh, I'm happy to like let you just unmute and brainstorm some things. Oh, you are so very welcome.
Okay, so Jeanette, I do have a question.
Yes, Bev, I was waiting for you.
So, with the course, like your beta group, is it going to be the same day every week that you're meeting, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, on Tuesdays, but the times I'm working with everybody who signed up so far, and then I'll continue working with people to find the best time. A lot of people are also Eastern time, and afternoon was working well. One lady might need a little bit later um, in the evening, but I'm not sure. So I wanted to do a survey and see what people can make. But I wanted to do it on the same day every week, so just to make it easy. And then there'll be a Q&A session either Thursday or Friday
Okay.
every single week. Are Tuesdays bad for you, Beverly?
No, Tuesdays are good, but how long is each class going to be? So just so I can kind of check
Yeah,
time.
these are excellent questions. I was planning in between 90 minutes, like 90 minutes to get it done, and then I'm planning on staying for a full 2 hours in case anybody has questions.
Okay.
Like that's what I've blocked off on my calendar is 2 hours. But I'm planning that 90 minutes because I know you're busy.
And is it going to be more step by step where we are doing it along with you so that
Yes.
okay.
Oh, yes, I know my audience, Beverly.
Good.
So yeah, it would be super step by step. So what I have for like each step is we will go through what we're working on, why we're working on it. We'll get everybody's input on that. Whether that's the very first one is always the strategy bot because that keeps us kind of focused and gives us a really good foundation. And then I have a Google Doc with all the directions using like all of these best practices we just went through. And I've already created that for you. So it'll already have the role, it'll already have the goals, it'll already have like the steps. And then we'll go through and customize it, and I'll help you guys customize it for your business. And then we just copy and paste it really into ChatGPT. It's actually not difficult. And then we'll test it together. So it's made to be super straightforward.
It sounds amazing.
I hope so. I'm really excited about it. I know it works for my one-on-one clients, so I think it'll be fantastic. Kevin, did you have a question too?
I don't know if it's really a question though, but it is an insight that came up I wanted to share if you're open
Yeah.
to hearing a feedback.
I am.
So as you were going through the presentation, I noticed like from my energy, like when you shared like this is what we're going to create through this accelerator, like newsletter, that business profile,
Yeah.
there's a feeling of working together to install. Yes, this page actually had me excited, like, ooh, we're actually going to work and install in
Yeah.
our business with AI. It gave me a concrete feel. So my thought was when I went to the sales page, I didn't see that. So I
Oh,
was
that
like, if
would be
I
amazing.
did not see this, it would have been nice to see this kind of information on the sales page to make me feel like you're going to walk away with X, Y, and Z in terms of that
Oh,
work, though. So I also wanted to share that in terms of this made me excited. And if that was the case, I want you to ensure that anyone who sees your sales page might have that feeling as well. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, I'm super grateful. Thank you. It's really helpful. Yeah, Amanda, I will email that link out and I can put it here as well again. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that right after this, Kevin. That's a great point. Oh, it didn't grab it. Yeah, I just, it can't take forever to do everything in your business because then you can't grow the way we want to grow. And I know you're a go-getter. I feel like I already know you, Kevin, because we chat like in the thing. So don't let me talk for you, but I love seeing seeing people's faces when I've chatted with them. Sarah Beth's gonna have to turn her camera on just so I can see her face because I feel like I should know her. It's just so fun. Amanda, you got a question as well?
Yeah, can you just talk about sort of like the timing? So this is like a couple weeks. I can't remember if you said 8 weeks. So is it after every 8 weeks is like a pause, or is it like a new set of things that we're building every sort of rotation?
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. So in the first 8 weeks, these will be recorded and used like in the program. Um, but then when we redo them, it will be tweaked based on your feedback. So a lot of them will be new depending on what people need. So I love your question. What I was hoping is that it would feel like we're actually getting new ones, right? You're either updating or really getting improvements based on how the technology's changed, as well as what you need in your business. So yeah, there'll be these, but also like I had to pick like, do we want to do like a one for a presentation? Because that could fall under webinar, challenge, uh, workshop. I can't believe I forgot that after working on the Scrappy workshop email all day. But all of those different presentations, there's so many opportunities and so many other ones that we could create. There's like podcast, organizing um, your who you're pitching, who your guests, how you prepare. Yeah, so I picked what I thought would overlap the most, but there's so many more on my list. Does that answer your question? I feel like I got a little rambly there for a minute. Oh, I think you might be muted. I can't see. You're like under my thing. Did Kevin, did you have another question as well? Oh no. Something was there. Sarah, you took the camera on. I'm so glad to finally see your face. I feel like I know you as well. It's like I love it because we just like are kind of hiding behind our screens there because even like the voice feature, which I think is so cool. But I was talking to some people, I'm like, I just wish I could see their face. It's just different. So thank you. I hope I didn't put you out of your comfort zone.
No, you're fine. It is super cool. We're doing lunchtime over here, so.
Oh,
But
my
it's been
baby
lovely
is
to
graduating
listen
high
to you.
school this year. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. Oh, this is so fun to hang out with everybody. So thank you so much. Is there anything I can do to help? Like, is there anything overwhelming that people would love to like just talk through a little bit more? No. All right. Well, then I'm going to call it. I just checked my messages one more time. But thank you all so much for coming to my very first webinar with this new business. So I did them a lot with my math business, but it's a lot more. This is a lot more fun. You guys are more fun. Math teachers aren't always fun. Got to just put it out there. So thank you so much for showing up and being here live. This was fantastic. And hopefully I see you all soon. I'll send out the replay as soon as it processes. I'm going to get it up on YouTube and I'll send it out for everybody. Bye, all.